Financial independence wasn't even on my radar until about 2 years ago. I had always had a fairly low salary relative to the area I lived in, and the field that I was in was not known for having super high salaries. So I never thought that financial independence would ever be achievable for me. I thought that financial independence was just for people who had super high salaries and could afford to sock away tremendous sums of money. Over the last 2 years, I've spent a lot of time reading and learning about the FIRE movement. That's Financial Independence, Retire Early. Through interacting with people who practice FIRE both here on YouTube and in real life, I've come to believe that financial independence is absolutely achievable for anyone on any income. Specifically, achievable for me on a relatively low income. So when I say relatively low, I mean that I've finally gotten to the point where my income is roughly the national average for a household in the United States. While my salary might seem like a lot of money for someone in a lower cost of living area, here where I live in the northeastern New Jersey, New York City metro area, my salary does not go very far. In fact, the median average household income for this area is about 4 to 5 times what I make. Some months I'm amazed that I can even exist in this area on the salary that I have. And I'm talking just base cost of living, that's housing, utilities, and transportation. And I mention this to say that I used to have a mindset where I did not think that financial independence, retire early, or the FIRE movement was possible for me because I thought I didn't make enough money. I used to think my income was too low for FIRE. I have since come to believe that financial independence is achievable for anyone on any income, as long as you are willing to make the adjustments to your lifestyle to achieve the long-term goals that you want. For the longest time, I wasn't willing to even consider the possibility of financial independence in the long term because I didn't think it was possible. So the biggest shift for me was the desire to be financially independent and then taking the steps I needed to take in order to make that possible with what I have right now. So I'm going to share with you my financial independence number and walk you through the spreadsheet I used to get to that number, as well as some hints and tips and realizations I had that would bring that financial independence target a little bit closer into view. First of all, I just have to give a huge shout out to the many YouTubers that are part of this financial independence community, Rebecca in Quest to Fire, and also a gentleman named Anthony Frame. I will put his details in the description box down below, so please go show him some love as well. Here are a few things to consider if you're thinking about doing FIRE on a low income. Number one, for the time being, set aside the retire early portion and just focus on financial independence. Even if it takes longer than traditionally would be accepted by FIRE, eventually being financially independent is a super achievement, and it sure beats working in your 80s or 90s, right? Number two, because you have a lower income, your expenses are going to be lower as well. So you might not need as high a number as you thought. That was the case for me. I realized that while my income was lower relative to other FIRE practitioners, my expenses were also lower. So I didn't need as big a number as I would have thought. And number three, financial independence is all relative. So I choose to think about my saving towards FIRE as a positive event, meaning any savings is better than no savings, rather than thinking that I'm behind and I'm not saving enough and getting myself discouraged. So again, I choose to believe and recognize that any savings is good savings. It really helped me to realize that there's no right or wrong way to work toward financial independence. As long as you are setting yourself on the right path, the speed isn't necessarily the most important part. As long as you are saving and watching your expenses, then it doesn't necessarily matter when you reach your eventual goal. The key for me was setting my current expenses and savings rate at a pace that will allow me to achieve my ultimate goal of financial independence, but still be sustainable for my life right now. So I can still prioritize savings while enjoying the occasional treat, like a dinner out or a vacation. I get to celebrate the people and the circumstances that are important to me right now, while still being able to save for my eventual long-term goals. The second key is that I'm actively working on ways to increase my income. So I'm setting my current current income and allocating that toward things that are important to me while working on ways to increase my income in the future. Okay, so here are my numbers. My current financial independence target amount is $750,000. That means that I would like to have that amount, $750,000, saved before I feel that I can comfortably move into the period of financial independence. And when I say comfortably, I mean relative to my expenses right now, which are fairly low given my relatively low salary. So I estimate that at my current contribution level, it will take me about 17 years to reach this number. So is this fast? Is 17 years fast? No, not really. But that's my plan, and it sure beats not having a plan and not having that amount saved by the time 17 years passes by. For these calculations, I'm assuming a safe withdrawal rate of 4%, which means that my investments of $750,000 will throw off about 4% in interest that I can live off of. Meaning I can live off the interest generated by that $750,000 without having to touch that nest egg, again, that $750,000. As I'm building to this $750,000 in savings, I estimate market returns each year of about 8%. So at my current expenses and savings rate, this will take me about 17 years, putting me at about age 55. So is this an early retirement, as in financial independence, retire early? Probably not. But again, it sure beats reaching age 55 and not having that amount saved. This plan doesn't take into account any big life changes that might happen, so I am just assuming that everything stays as it is right now, which is almost never the case. Things almost never stay the same. My responsibility is to plan for the things that I can control right now and to take responsibility for the things that I can affect change on. So I'm planning for my life as it is right now and then being open to any adjustments or big expenses or life changes that may happen in the future. A note on my situation, just to give some context, I am right now living in the house that I grew up in and kind of helping my mom out with expenses, and I anticipate that during those 17 years we will pay off the house entirely. My mom and I will have that as an asset. Currently our payoff date is about 8 years in the future, so we're excited to work toward that goal as well. Here is a shot of the spreadsheet I use to calculate my financial independence number, and once more I have to give huge credit to Anthony Frame. I estimate annual expenses of about $30,000, meaning this is the amount I'd like to have my investments throw off in order to live on. Here's my safe withdrawal rate of 4%, giving me a financial independence number of $750,000. As I'm contributing and building up to this number, I expect a market return of about 8% each year. Average yearly market returns are around 10 to 12%. This is my current age right here. Again, taking this as the $750,000 that I'm building to for my financial independence number, this is the amount I already have saved, and this is the remaining amount that I need to achieve that financial independence. This is the amount that I am contributing yearly, so that's about $21,000. And this is the rough number of years that it will take me to build up that amount in savings. So the way this sheet works is that I have each year, and then my age, the yearly savings or contribution that I anticipate making, and then the annual returns I have each year, my ending balance. And then I take this ending balance, carry it over into year 2, that's my age, and then I put the yearly savings contribution amount, and then the compounded interest amount that I expect to receive in returns from the market, and then add that together. You can see there's a huge difference in between those two numbers, and that's because of the power of compound interest. So those are my numbers. That's my plan to achieve financial independence on a low income. I hope that this has been helpful for you and inspiring to show you that no matter how slowly, as long as you're heading in the right direction, you will eventually reach your goal. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I hope that you'll keep watching. Bye.